This is KTN.
Welcome back to KTN Prime. They say art acts as a profound societal mirror, reflecting uncomfortable truths that might otherwise remain hidden. But what happens when the images in that mirror are ignored, only for fiction to morph into a horrific living reality? Now, as families continue to mourn the tragic death of 16 schoolgirls at Utumishi Girls Academy in Gilgil, a tragedy defined by reports of locked dormitory doors, window grills, and blocked escape, and claims of weak adult supervision, the country has suddenly been forced to look back. Around 8 years ago, in 2018, Butere Girls High School took the national stage with a critically acclaimed play titled It Is Well. The script depicted a fictional police-linked institution called Reki Memorial Academy, which was razed to the ground in a catastrophic dormitory fire triggered by student inclusion and administrative failure. The chilling parallels raise a haunting question. Is It Well just a theatrical production, or was it an explicit roadmap and early warning system that we carelessly dismissed as mere entertainment? Let's take a look at a snippet of that play that was staged 8 years ago, titled It Is Well.
Alexa! Me alone! Alexa! The daughter of the senior assistant, Inspector General, the lioness of this jungle. Alexa! Leave me alone! Alexa! She has been electrocuted! Oh my God! What do we do? Hold her! Very dangerous! She's dying! Anything to help her! Run for safety! The noise first! Who has the keys? You! Me! Fire! Somebody! Somebody help us! We are dying! We are dying!
Well, it goes without saying that scene might spur heightened emotions amongst affected family members, but that was a play that went to stage 8 years ago. And joining me tonight on KTN Prime is the playwright behind that prophetic piece, the author, playwright, former Kakamega Senator, and the DCP Deputy Party Leader, Cleophas Malala, who is joining me in studio. Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
It's great to have you with us. It's been a while.
Thank you.
Okay, let's start with art being a prophetic mirror versus just entertainment. Because as I mentioned, that play was staged in 2018, taking the drama festival by storm, detailing the police-linked boarding school where dynamic exclusions culminated in a locked dormitory fire. And 8 years later, we've seen Utumishi Girls, quite unfortunate, another police-linked school suffering the exact same tragedy, right down to some of the locked doors and exits and subsequent student arson arrests. So you noted that you felt a sense of prophetic analysis in previous engagement with our reporter Violet Auma. while you were writing this piece. So looking back, do you think the Ministry of Education, the relevant education stakeholders, school principals, you name them, took a look at your play and thought of it as merely a competitive piece of art to win trophies rather than a behavioral warning on what exactly is happening in schools demanding policy changes?
Jesse, first of all, I want to take this opportunity to send my condolences to the families who lost their loved ones. It is quite unfortunate that such an incident occurred in a school whereby we expect a high level of protection. We expect the government, through the Ministry of Education, to have focus in a school that hosts children of majority of disciplined forces. Again, I would say it's quite unfortunate that the proximity of the school to institutions which would respond to such incidences, like say the NYS, the barracks, is just 4 kilometers away. And these calls us to pay attention on what is our response to disaster as a country. If we can have an institution burning down our children just 4 kilometers away from the Kenya Army barracks, from NYS, from, we have another, from the county government, which was just stationed around there. What about Kenyans who face disaster and they're far away from those institutions? I think this is a moment of reflection. We need to go back and call ourselves to order. Second, I will also want to ask government through the Ministry of Education and the quality assurance officers to ensure that they implement the policies that came out after the play in 2018. We had policy suggestions of dormitories not having grills. Second, we had also had a suggestion that we must have an adult sleeping and being in charge of dormitories. And the locked door policy, to me, locking children inside a room is very dangerous. So I think the adult leaders in that school failed terribly, and they should be accountable. I still insist they failed, and it shouldn't just end at the principal. The quality assurance officer of that sub-county should be accountable, and also the county director of education, because the buck stops at them. We have a policy, we have prerequisites of what entails an ideal school when it comes to safety, and safety comes first. That said and done, Jesse, I think many a times people, and especially the leaders in this country, have taken theater, or rather art, or literature in this case, as a way of entertainment. The Kenya National Drama Festivals, and even the music festivals, has been relegated into a festival that entertains people, a festival that massages the ego of the leaders of this country. As I told you when I came last year on this show, theater is supposed to be a mirror of reflection, a moment to audit our social selves. We cannot run away from ourselves. It is very bad that such plays cannot get the limelight they require. This play I conceptualized the idea 8 years ago, went to the Nationals, performed, we were number 2, and then it ends at that. What has KICD done about the content in that play? KICD are the custodians of all the pieces of art that we produce in the Kenya National Secondary Drama Festivals. For 8 years, KICD has done nothing to use this piece of art as content to even lecture students in schools, teachers. And we have so many other thematic or plays that, or items that are relevant to the society, that can change the society, that have been hoarded at KICD. So how I wish drama festival, we should have a paradigm shift. Let leaders allow themselves to watch themselves. It was quite unfortunate that such a play has never been seen until today. 8 years down the line, until we lose 16, 17, 18 lives, that's when such a play comes. Those girls who acted that play should have been celebrated as heroines. But they can't be celebrated right now because we are in a somber mood. We are mourning 19 children who have burned just because adults did not pay keen attention to whatever theater is bringing on the table. But all said and done, there's still hope. There's still hope that theater can still be used to communicate serious thematic concerns of our country. We have plays which highlight corruption. We have plays which advocate for mental health issues. It's a key issue that is ailing our country. We have plays which highlight the issue of trying to narrow down the generational gap between the older generation and the younger generation, and so many other thematic concerns that I would be happy to see as a stage on platforms that can assist Kenyans.
So we shouldn't look at these plays as a mere entertainment. As you've said, it's a mirror to the society, and we can actually strengthen our curriculum in one way or the other through the dramatic scripts.
A case in example is, yes, look at the way people look at artists. Even in the political class, they want to demean you using the name, huyu ni mtu wa vipindi, mtu wa madrama, mtu ya mascript. You see, the moment you have that in your mind, you lose the entire package. So how I wish Kenyans should start looking at theater, extracting serious thematic concerns that theater is trying to pass across. The biggest letdown to me is the drama festivals officials, because they have become caricatures of the executive, taking items that pleases the president. You know, we don't do theater to please William Ruto. We don't do theater to please C.S. Ogamba. We do theater to disseminate relevant information to the society. So when it comes a time when items are measured on the basis of the happiness or the anger of the president, to me, we've lost the script.
Definitely, and as we said, it's a mirror to the society. So if you don't like the reflection, you don't break the mirror.
Yeah.
You change the realities. But let's talk about the normalization of violence and adult negligence, because you stated that it was conceptually triggered by real-world political hostility. I don't know, was it after the 2017 election?
Yes.
Yeah, so what we expect at Tutumishi Girls, the students replicated sort of toxic adult behaviors using sabotage, exclusion, and ultimately fire to resolve their interpersonal differences. So if students are simply mirroring the violence, political intolerance, the high-handedness they see in mainstream Kenyan society, how can we expect to end school unrest when the underlying cultural fabric is deeply broken?
I was laughing at C.S. Ogamba, trying to say that he's trying to sort out the unrest, the unrest in schools. You know, these students emulate exactly what they see in their parents, their teachers, or generally in adults. In society. The current leadership, and even the previous leadership, must be blamed because, Jesse, for example, the government the government only listens to mwananchi after maandamano. And what happens during maandamano? Destruction of property, arson, and a child sees that from an adult. When he goes to school, you refuse to listen to them, they do maandamano in whatever form they want to do. Others ban dormitories, others steal, others poison food, and therefore they use the extreme measures that they have picked from the adults. So this calls for a social audit in the society, and it doesn't just end at leaders. All cadres of adulthood must be audited. From your house, you are a father, your child can see you agitated because of high fuel prices, and then you say, kesho, paka tuende maandamano. And therefore the child says, oh, so wakienda maandamano, they burn down things, the child sees, oh, the fire, and then Ruto appears. Fellow Kenyans, you know, why appear after the maandamano? So you cannot be a solution after distraction. So that entire package of how we solve our problems in the society must be audited. We must have responsible leadership which can handle a situation before it goes to maandamano and burning down things. Second, we must also respect the Constitution. The moment we deny citizens a peaceful demonstration, they resort to violence. So the moment in a school, a principal denies students their rights, maybe their rights to socialize, their rights to information, they want to exercise dictatorship to students, the students now will get the alternative avenue to express themselves or to sort out the problem by doing what they're doing. And therefore, it calls out for an entire shift when it comes to how do we lead. We can lead through participation, through inclusivity of ideas. Inclusivity is not just representation on the desk. That's not inclusivity. Inclusivity is, first, before you make a decision that affects majority of people, could you please ensure that they participate in decision making? In schools, we will employ upon teachers and the administrators of the school not to be dictatorial. The current generation is a changed generation. The current child is not the same child we used to have during our days. During our days, we used to have corporal punishment. Today, if you lift up a cane, you know, it doesn't work. You need to have a conversation with the child. In my house is not a dictatorship. Neither is it a democracy.
Your word is law.
No, it's not a full democracy, and again, it's not a dictatorship. So you need to strike a balance between guiding the student and making him feel included in the decision making. Once everybody is included in the decision making, then everything will be handled in an amicable way, whereby we will not have such extremes that we witnessed in Utumishi Girls.
And speaking of Utumishi Girls, as I draw parallels to the play you scripted 8 years ago, and we just played a section of it, that harrowing scene where some of the students were stuck at the windows, unable to escape because of metal grills and lock external doors. I'd like to ask, what policy or structural change did your play suggest that school boards, that the ministry are still stubbornly refusing to implement? Because we've seen physical hazards in some of these boarding schools. Case in point at Utumishi, where we understand some of the exits, which should be, I think, 3 on all sides, were actually locked. And this led perhaps to further loss of life due to that arson attack. What policy or structural change did you suggest in the play?
First of all, the play, a play cannot directly narrate to you the solution.
Okay.
You can extract the solution from the occurrences of the play. But generally what came out from it as well was that we should do away with grilled windows and doors. For example, if those girls in Reke Memorial Academy would not have been caged in a dormitory, they would find escape. But you saw they were trying to escape and they were trapped with the grill. So a principal, or rather an administrator, will see that, come on, in case of fire, can we get an exit? Second, we did not have an exit, a fire exit in that dormitory. So our recommendation was every dormitory, every classroom must have a fire exit. Third, we do not have enough machinery to put off the fire. You saw the police officers saying that we do not have water. They had to go to the slums to get water. So we are saying that before a school is opened, safety measures must be adhered to. And then fourth was the issue of overcrowding. And this is a problem that is caused by the ministry. So CS Ogamba, it is hypocritical for you, first of all, to think that you are punishing maybe a principal, yet your own ministry sent over 220 students in excess in the grade 10 intake. It means schools have not been capacitated to have proper infrastructure to accommodate students. Yeah. And therefore, this calls for adequate budgeting for schools to be given money, and we must have a checklist. How many students are allowed to sleep in one dormitory? Let it be a standard. Or a dormitory of this size can only accommodate students up to what point? We have seen classrooms in public institutions whereby an ideal classroom is supposed to have 40 students. But we've seen classrooms stretching up to around 80, 90 students. Even the breathing. You know, safety is not about the extremes we've seen here previously. Safety is about your health. How do they breathe? These are young lungs. How do they breathe? How do they interact? How do they, what are the health hazards that are putting their lives at risk? Okay. So we need, the government must have a defined checklist and prerequisites of a school, ticking all the items before the school is recommended for operation.
Well, I wish it would have been an ideal scenario as such, but unfortunately we seem to be more reactive rather than proactive when it comes to ensuring the safety measures, even as some of these schools, some of these boarding facilities seem like fortresses, securing the learners from outsiders rather than prioritizing the emergency escape for insiders. But you've been a playwright for quite some time, and your work seems to have historically courted controversy in some cases, and the state pushback. If I can mention the halting of the Echoes of War play, the banning of Shackles of Doom, and the list might go on. And you argue that some of this Kenyan authorities, school administrators are paranoid because they see their own failures and the profiles exposed on the stage. So what happens when the state suppresses or heavily censors raw, honest student theatre? At times they say you're politicizing art, but at the end of the day, are they stopping students from venting their anxieties and observations safely through literature and art? Or is this simply forcing frustrations to, manifest in different areas, political frustrations?
Yeah. Many people fear facing their ghosts. And I wonder why a public officer would censor a play. and especially a play acted by Form 1, Form 2, grade 10, grade 11 students. When I remember in 2013, when I was doing Shackles of Doom. Shackles of Doom was a play basically trying to help the people of Turkana. Oil had been discovered in Turkana, and we had people who wanted to go and exploit them. We had people all the way from Mulima going to Turkana to exploit the Turkanas. And that play, 2013 to now, that is around 13 years. Huh? What is the reality like now? Who is the owner of Gulf Energy? Jesse.
I'm here to ask questions, not answer them.
So when we do plays,
Yes.
we are inspired by God. We not just do plays to fulfill our personal desires. A pastor or a prophet is inspired by God. He preaches. He uses the channel of preaching. I am inspired by God to write. I might not be a pastor, but I'm inspired by God to communicate using theater. So the difference between Prophet Owor and Senator Cleophas Malala is just the medium. Him uses the preaching, I use theater. But we are both prophets. Because whatever I said in 2013, the true people of Kana, I used to call the Turkanas in that play, the true people of Kana. In short, Turkanas. So Turkanas, they had minerals, and somebody came all the way from Mlima, went to them and bought their land in exchange of a beautiful lady called Wamaitha. The moment Wamaitha was married in Turkana, she took over the land and they erected their refinery, an oil refinery. When the oil refinery started working, the true people of Kana did not benefit. But an entire community from the Mlima was the one benefiting. And therefore, when you look at those occurrences, 13 years down the line, go to Turkana, they have oil, but who is benefiting? You know the owner of Gulf Energy. Where does he come from? And therefore, it is not fair enough for a play of such magnitude, because I was addressing a serious issue, salvaging an entire community and generations to come. But you trivialize it just because you don't love Cleo Malala. Or this Cleo Malala is a politician. As I told you, I am not a politician who is a writer. I am a writer who is a politician. So people should respect art. You cannot censor art. It's like censoring preaching. Telling Prophet Owor, do not preach Matthew chapter 6, verse 6. Skip to Revelation. You cannot do that. The same way you cannot censor religion and prophetic analysis in religion, you should not censor art, because art is just a thought. Even you censor it, but it's still a thought. It's amorphous. It's in the air. So I would like to call upon the leadership to be tolerant to art, to be tolerant to ideas, and not to profile writers simply because they incline in certain political affiliations. Echoes of War. Up to today, when you ask William Ruto what was Echoes of War talking about, he doesn't know. He doesn't know, but he censored it just because it was Malala, just because that play had Gen Zs trying to revolt over bad leadership. Today in our schools, what is happening? You claim that Malala was giving children content that is not child-centered. Is banning of Utumishi girls child-centered? No. Because don't mistake these students to be childish. They're not childish. These are grown-ups. These are people who interact with the society, and they have a right to participate in the governance and leadership of this country. you cannot say that you don't introduce politics in schools. Yet you've adopted the political structure in electing prefects in schools. Prefects campaign. So why can't they do a play about campaigning? While campaigning, they give a manifesto. Why can't you do a play about students campaigning and giving a manifesto? We have student leaders who are rogue, who campaigned on a platform of good leadership, accountability, but when they got to the helm, they became rogue. Why can't students also perform plays that depicts the same? I don't know who tells this regime that if you act a play about a corrupt leader, you're acting a play about William Ruto. I don't know. I don't know who tells this regime that if you act a play about a leader who is killing young children, the streets you're acting about Kasongo. Who said? So why are they paranoid of themselves? So let leaders be confident.
Okay.
And plays are not meant to address one person. They are meant to help generations and generations to come.
Interesting. You said something earlier that some of these leaders fear confronting their ghosts. I hope you don't fear confronting your ghosts.
No, I don't.
Why would we have you here and not talk politics? I can't let you go without talking politics, even though you're an author first and a politician second. That's why we started with playwright issues first. Let's talk politics now, because the party you associate with, the Democracy for Citizens Party, there have been reports that it's facing internal turmoil following the leadership changes that were effected by the former deputy president and your party leader, Rigathi Gachagua, a couple of days ago. We saw the move by the National Executive Council to appoint the Nyandarua Senator John Methu as a party secretary general and the designated spokesperson for the party, Hezron Obaga, as the party's executive director. And this move is said to have upset key party officials, including yourself. That's according to reports out there. So we have you here. Let's hear it from the horse's mouth. Are you in support of the leadership changes, and how do you respond to the claims of internal turmoil within DCP?
First of all, DCP is a very young party. We started DCP a year ago. In fact, we were celebrating our first anniversary on 15th May. And you might think that DCP is even older than ODM because the occurrences in our party, we have very fast growth in our party. We have now MCAs across the country. We have an MCA in Kakamega, we have an MCA in Masailand, we have an MCA at the center of the capital city. And we have participated in other by-elections whereby we favorably gave it our all. We've penetrated the perceived Ruto's stronghold that is in Emurua Dikir. We got almost 11,000 votes. Why it's not for government intimidation, we would have clinched that seat. And therefore, I want to say that DCP is a very strong party, and political parties attract attention, national attention. We, as the National Executive Council, sat and agreed that Senator Methu will be the Secretary General designate. And we are alive of the fact that, legally speaking, he cannot be the Secretary General.
So if you're alive to that fact, well, why appoint him then?
No, we appointed him as a Secretary, as to when we will now ensure that we have met all the prerequisites. He is the Secretary General that is going to take up the mantle. So he is the Secretary General designate.
But putting designate, Malala, doesn't change the fact. No, just hold on. Because he's allied to UDA party. That's the party that sponsored him to parliament, right? Yeah. So how can your party claim a member of a different party and even put him at a...
Legally speaking, Jesse, I don't know why you want to run away from this fact. Legally speaking, Hezron Obaga is the Secretary General. Senator Methu is the Secretary General designate. We are giving an indicator that as to when Senator Methu will fully abide by the provisions of the Political Parties Act, he will be the Secretary General. What is that? What is wrong with that? There's nothing wrong. It's like we are futuristic with our party. So as we speak right now, the Secretary General of the DCP party is Hezron Obaga. But Senator Matthew is the Secretary General designate. As to when he will meet all the legal provisions as enshrined in the Political Parties Act, Hezron Obaga will be the Executive Director, and Senator Matthew now will be the DCP Secretary General. English.
I know it's English at the end of the day. Malala, no need
Next
to
question.
get there.
Next question.
Bado, relax. So have you pushed for formal approval from the Register of Political Parties in terms of these leadership changes?
Those are internal issues. You know, we, as a deputy party leader, I do not engage in correspondence. Correspondence is done by the Secretary General. And I think that should be in course, because we must have a Secretary General who meets the prerequisites of the law. Okay,
so you're in support of the leadership changes?
I am in support. Senator Matthew is a young leader like me.
Yeah.
He's a brave leader. He's the only leader who faced the president, told him that tunakuheshimu na tukuogopi. So even on behalf of Senator Matthew, I would like to represent him here and still tell that president that we respect you, but we don't fear you. So he's a young leader who meets all the qualities of a Secretary General of a strong party, and therefore I don't know why people are going around and saying that some of us were not comfortable. I cannot hold two positions in a party. How can I hold two positions? I am the deputy party leader.
Simple.
The deputy party leader is the second most senior official in the party. So what business will I be having running around with a Secretary General who is my worker?
Okay, power. Anyway, let's talk about the
and we've given Senator Matthew a very big assignment to deliver the Nyandarua, the Olkalau by-election.
Yeah.
That's a big test for him. So if he delivers, we will even have more confidence to make him Secretary General. But if he doesn't deliver, we will review the terms, because now we've given him a test of delivering the Olkalau by-election. So I want to make it very clear that I am in support of Senator Matthew as the Secretary General. Let those people who are trying to bring unnecessary animosity in the party, that DCP party is a strong party, is a party that believes in young leaders. This is the only party that has a young deputy party leader. Look at those other ones who are looking for power. You will never see them bringing up leaders. If you can frustrate a leader like Edwin Sifuna, what else do you want on this world?
So you're calling Simba Erati old?
He's relatively sliding into that category.
Okay, he's not here to defend himself.
And ideologically, he's a very old person.
Okay. He's not here to defend himself. Let's not malign his character.
Next question.
You talked about Olkalau by-elections.
Yes.
And it's scheduled for July 16th for the benefit of our viewers. And it's setting up to be a highly contested stage, a high-stakes political battle in the Mount Kenya region. DCP nominated the former MCA Sam Ingodho for their ticket. Jubilee unveiled Wilson Kigwa as its candidate for the by-election. But we've had reports that the United Alternative Government, or is it United Opposition, has announced that it will field a single candidate.
Yep.
Is your candidate taking the back seat in favor of the Jubilee Party candidate, or who is shelving their ambitions for who?
Initially we had allowed, since Nyandarua County and Olkalau is our stronghold, dominantly our stronghold. We control like around 90%. So we had seen no issues in all the parties fielding in the spirit of democracy. But our principals had a meeting, and they saw it wise to front one individual, and I think the PLP and the Jubilee candidates stepped down in favor of Sami Waweru Kamau. I'd like to also to ask the people of Olkalau to know that the name that is on the ballot is Sami Kamau Waweru, and is 9th on the ballot. He's the last person on the ballot. So Olkalau people, when you go to that ballot, Just look at the person who is last on the list and tick.
Well, anyway, what strategies have you put in place to ensure victory? You said that Senator Matthew is at the front line in ensuring he delivers that seat to DCP.
Yeah.
But truth be said, as much as you won some positions, MCA positions, you've equally lost in mini polls across the country. Even in Mount Kenya region, Mbeere North, just to mention, which the case was concluded in the courts and Wamudende was declared the legitimately voted in member of parliament. So what are you doing to ensure a victory this time round in a race that wears so much political weight for your party leader in terms of the optics and his leadership of the Mount Kenya region?
Jesse, of course, I'm not a fool to come on national television to tell you our strategy, but generally speaking, we will disseminate relevant information to the electorate, not to be cowed by intimidation by the government. We'll also encourage them and ensure that no identity cards are bought, because ours is just guarding the vote. We already have the vote. Ours is just guarding the vote. So that's the general strategy that we are using, but on the nitty-gritties of the strategy, I think once you join DCP, and joining DCP is *5. If you join DCP, I can tell you our strategy.
Okay,
Yeah.
but this is a must-win for DCP.
We are winning.
For optics case,
Not optics.
you cannot afford to lose.
For serious business case, not optics.
Okay.
We are not here to entertain or not optics. We are serious about the removal of this regime. And therefore, this is a test for us. And I have been in politics before. I've been in the remotest of villages in this country. Mm-hmm. I can assure you, the people of Olkalau are so decided. One time.
Well, msema kweli itakuwa next month. Let's see what the electorate actually decide. I'd like us to talk briefly about the perceived unease in DCP's grassroots structures. There are reports of tension peaking in counties like Nyeri and Meru, and we've seen some aspirants, grassroots leaders, accuse party elites of micromanagement and imposing unpopular officials. We've equally seen your party leader perhaps pitch camp there, trying to alleviate the situation. But perhaps you can tell us what exactly is the move behind his move to stay in, he's in Nyeri, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, so talk to us about that and whether DCP has moved to solve that internal competition, managing ambition before it becomes rebellion.
As my party leader always says, he's a truthful man. I've also learned to be truthful from him. I'll be speaking the truth tonight. There has been a lot of demand for the DCP party in the mountain. A lot of demand. Everybody wants to come to DCP, and I have been on the forefront to ensure that the doors are opened for everyone. Truth be told, we have some few characters who do not welcome people in the party. The other day you saw me in Kirinyaga welcoming 11 elected MCAs. Kirinyaga has got 20 elected MCAs. As a deputy party leader, I go talk to the MCAs. I tell them, come on, this is our party. You know, this is the stronghold of our party. Come on, you need to come into our party. I bring on board 11 MCAs and 2 others were not present on that day. So I was bringing on board 13 MCAs. But you saw some party officials, members, trying to say that, why are you bringing these people to the party? So there is a very tense moment within the party, and that must be said, that we have people who would wish to come to the party, but we have others who are patronizing the party. And I say they'll not
who
be
are these
part.
people?
You know them. You saw them ranting on social media. I said, as the deputy party leader, I will focus on bringing more people to the party. We said, let bygones be bygones. We cannot hold grudges all through. If you want to become a political party, let us open doors for everyone. Let democracy prevail. Our name is Democracy for the Citizens Party. We cannot have a party whereby certain individuals think that they own up the party more than others. So my problem with a few individuals was that I am opening up the party for more people. We want Governor Wamatangi to come to the party, and therefore nobody should insinuate or should say that, oh, apana. We want Governor Kangata to come to the party. We want Ngirishi, who is a very strong candidate in Kirinyaga, to come to the party. You cannot stop Ngirishi from coming to the party simply because you have an interest of running to the party and on running on the party's ticket, and you are closer to the party leader. We will not accept if a party is premised on the basis of democracy. Let everybody come to the party. So I want to say here categorically that my personal stand as the deputy party leader for DCP is that DCP is opened for everybody. We will have free and fair nominations. It doesn't matter whether you stood with our party leader during impeachment or not. If you worked, or if people see that you can work for them, go sell your manifesto to them. And if part of your manifesto is that I stood with the party leader during impeachment, then sell it to the people. If they accept, they will elect you. But you cannot patronize the party just because a few individuals are privileged to access the party leader. So I have been on the forefront, and I will fight for that within the party, that DCP party is opened for everyone. Everyone.
You've mentioned your party leader. I asked whether he's in Nyeri for housekeeping mission to at least contain the emerging factional battles, because instability in his backyard would taint his image as the undisputed political mobilizer of the mountain. So is that part of his agenda?
Not really. You know, when you impeached Rigathi, you told him go to Wamunyoro. Now he went to Wamunyoro, again you're having problems. And you see, and Wamunyoro has become an icon in Kenya. I think this is where people go for political nourishment, for political wisdom. Today he met aspirants from Meru County, and we've seen so many delegations going to Wamunyoro, and there's nothing tense, there's nothing containing. Okay. The entire mountain is DCP. So these are normal political operational activities. Tomorrow you'll see him, we are organizing for the northeastern community to go and see Rigathi Gachagua in Wamunyoro. They have already prepared 17 camels, goats, taking it to Wamunyoro, to the king. You know, now Rigiji is now the king. so even us lawyers, I'm going to get sugarcane, chicken, all the way to go and see the king, because Rigiji is now the king. So, and we've seen even Masais going to Wamunyoro. So when Merus go to Wamunyoro, it shouldn't be an issue, and I think my party leader is a leader who has remained committed to the cause, and he's an example, a very good example of a leader who uses the stones thrown at him to build a strong foundation. You remember during the impeachment, they were calling him a villager, and he said, okay, sawa, I'm a villager. They told him, go to Wamunyoro. He went to Wamunyoro. Wamunyoro now has become like the capital city of those who have political stress. When you go there, you're healed. When you go there, you're okay. You walk out and
I see the playwright news coming out. But anyway, there's some...
They say it again now. Yeah. Now that he's in Wamunyoro, he's always in Wamunyoro. People are going there. He's a Mkabila. He said, okay, I'm a Mkabila, but I have relatives. I have cousins. Again, you say this cousin thing is bad. He says, no, I have friends. So I think we have such a creative politician in him, and we would want to guard that jewel and not allow funny characters surrounding him to cause confusion. I want to say that I'm a very steady leader. and I'm in DCP, but I will personally not allow leaders who think that they stood with the party leader during the impeachment, that they will get straight certificates. You cannot frustrate people to come into our party. We want Omatangi to come into our party. We want the Moranga, my senator, Kangata Irungu, to come to the. I want Ngirishi to come into the party. So those few individuals, cartels, we call them cartels within the party. The good thing is that I've handled even other serious parties before. I have been in ODM. You know the kind of politics that is in ODM. I've been the Secretary General for the ruling party, and I have the requisite muscles to handle such people and ensure that we build a strong party.
They can't push you out.
Who will push me in my party? This is my party.
All right.
This is a party that I've founded.
Okay.
And nobody can say that he can push me out of DCP. How? I am here to stay. I'm the deputy party leader. I am a founder member of a DCP. So how can you push me out of my own party?
There's some who might challenge DCP's claim to the mountain, including former CS Moses Kuria, who just recently alleged that DCP party is planning something sinister around the Gen Z movement and the upcoming Saba Saba commemoration. How do you respond to such claims that DCP leadership is orchestrating regional violence, planning civil unrest from your critics, from the naysayers, as they might be referred to?
Do you still listen to Moses Kuria?
There's a section of the population that
Yes,
does.
what did he say? Because I didn't listen. I don't follow him, so.
No problem. That's why we're members of the Fourth Estate. He said there's something sinister around the Gen Z movement and the upcoming Saba Saba the commemoration that is being planned by the DCP party.
There has been a strategic move to profile the Kikuyu nation as a nation which has inculcated violence in the young generation, and they want to use that violence to cause disharmony among the business people and the politicians, and also use that confusion to suppress voter turnout and people being interested in politics. That strategy was used by Moi to paint Luos as very bad people, as people who uproot railways, stone people. And you see, Luos were profiled to that extent all along. When even you meet a Luo journalist, you think he wants to stone you. So that same strategy is being used to profile the Kikuyus against the rest of the country. Unfortunately, I would call upon the leadership of this country not to dare do that. Kenya is a country that appreciates cohesion and integration. We've intermarried. Gone are the days when you would draw a boundary. Personally, I have friends who have married in Kikuyu, and I have Kikuyus who have married in Western, and therefore when you start that egocentric agenda to want to profile a community, it will not just end at profiling a community. It will break even the basic unit of life, which is the family. Jesse, I'm sure you have a friend who is a Kikuyu. How would you then advise that friend to divorce with his wife just simply because of politics? And therefore, we are looking at this as a time bomb for this country, and remind also Kenyans of the post-election violence that happened in 2007, 2008. That's not the route we want to go. We want a peaceful country, and even as elections come, leaders should appreciate the fact that elections come and go. And therefore, you can win and lose. I lost the Kakamega gubernatorial seat. Here I am. I'm certain that I'm picking it in the next 2 or 3, in the next one year. In fact, you should start calling me the governor designate. Kakamega County. So people should not take politics as a do or die a scenario. They should take it easy. William Ruto should accept that he has done his best as a president. That is the best he would have done. And if Kenyans think that he's a one-term president, let him accept and go. I'm glad he accepted during the prayer day that if Kenyans said it's okay, but he looked stressed. He never even sent condolences to the families of the young girls who had succumbed on the fire arson.
I think he did with Rachel, the wife, right there on the stage. But
it was not pronounced. You cannot, condolences cannot be, you are the head of states.
It seemed like a passing statement.
Yeah, and we've lost 19 lives.
16, yeah.
There are more who lost their lives while in hospital. But now, I'm not sure about that.
No. Yeah, there's none who died. Yeah.
So 16 lives. Even if we had lost 2 lives, even 1 life. Yes.
Okay.
At the head of state, I would want him to address that issue in a more serious way. If William Ruto had an entire 1 hour lecturing Kenyans about a school play called Echoes of War, come on, you are now losing children.
Okay.
Just listen to me. Why are you?
No, it's due to time. You understand this thing.
We have time. I'm here. I'm not an early.
Okay.
Yeah, just proceed.
I wanted to give you a multi-pronged question.
Yes.
Because you've mentioned you're in the race in Kakamega for the gubernatorial seat.
Yeah.
I, in fact, even saw a convoy of branded vehicles with your face. And it seems you're on a lainisha ground, as they say. So talk to us about DCP's prospects in outside Mount Kenya region, including Western Kenya, where we've seen emerging political formations questioning the unity of Mulembe Nation, the Sifuna-led Linda Mwananchi faction. We have the Tawe movement, and we still have the old guards who are clinging on to power, even as they hold influential positions in this government. Talk to us about that, but equally, matters to do with the united opposition. Just yesterday, Fred Matiang'i mentioned he's ready to, cede ground if he's not the one picked by the opposition as its candidate to face off against President William Ruto. We're still waiting. The scientific approach has been mentioned time and time again. Has it started? Kenyans want a semblance of who exactly will be on the ballot from the united opposition. And I'm pretty sure you'll mention Rigathi Gachagua, but this scientific approach, talk to us about it,
Science and agriculture or just science?
Proceed.
Okay, be it as it may.
Yes.
First of all, I want to say that Western region is very united. And we've been united. This aspect or this notion of propagating a narrative that Western region is always divided, I think it's just a narrative to please 1 or 2 people, which to me, I want to rubbish it today. Look at how the Western region have been voting since time immemorial. In 2002, they voted 80% NAC. Took it back, 80%. In 2007, they voted 78% Raila Odinga. In 2013, they voted 76.5% to Raila Odinga. 2017, 75% to Raila Odinga. 2022, they voted 70.3% to Raila. So a region which votes 70% plus, how can you say it is disunited? No. We have always been united. And this time round in 2017, you've asked me about the influence of DCP outside the mountain. In fact, I am more worried that DCP might not be as strong in the mountain as it is outside. DCP is stronger outside the mountain. We have won a seat in Kisa East. Kisa East is the last constituency, is in a constituency called Huisero, which is the last constituency in Kakamega County bordering Siaya.
Okay.
Huisero has always had ODM elected leaders, fully ODM elected leaders. But we saw them during the last by-election. ODM got 73 votes. Look at the results. DCP won the seat. When we went to the Malava, the Kabaras West by-election, look at the performance of parties. UDA won by 3,300. DCP came in second with 2,700, and then followed by DAP, 62 votes. 62, 1, 2, 3, up to 62. Then ODM with 33 votes. So what is the measure of a political party? Political parties are measured on the basis of the results of the election. Go to Emurwa Dikir. DCP got 11,000 votes. PNU got 33. 1, 2, up to 33 votes. Measure the strength of a political party. Go to Purko Ward. We were defeated with 200 votes only. Purko Ward is in Kajiado. So tell me, how then do you say that DCP is a Mlima party? In fact, we are yet to see how will DCP perform in Olkalau. That's when we now know the measure of the party.
But sorry, let me throw a spanner in the works. Arsenal fans might relate. We were beaten by penalties, but you were still beaten.
But you are second. You cannot compare Arsenal and Gor Mahia FC.
But did they win?
You know,
okay.
Yeah, you cannot compare Arsenal and Gor Mahia, surely.
All right.
Since Arsenal lost, yes, but you cannot compare Arsenal and Gor Mahia. So it's like...
So it's how you lose that matters.
Yeah, exactly. And you see, let me tell you one thing. Huh? The strength of a party, and even in the formula of calculating the political parties' funds, the issue of the cumulative votes that you get across the country garnered by aspirants is a factor in measuring the strength of a political party. And I think the drafters of the Political Parties Act, when it came to the regulations of distribution of the political parties fund, measured the strength of a political party based on the numbers the aspirants get. And I want to tell Kenyans that DCP will be very strong in Western region. Western region is a one-term region. Yes, it is one term, but we will get a big share of that vote.
Briefly, let's talk about that scientific approach.
There's nothing science in politics. Those people who are trying to say scientific, I think, to me, I don't buy to that thing. I don't support that scientific thing. Kura ni ground.
Numbers.
Numbers. If you have numbers, yes. You cannot be staying in a room or in hotels drinking coffee with very big kitenges and suits and say that you want to be the president of Kenya. You cannot be the president of Kenya before going to mobilize the people. He who has numbers will be the presidential candidate.
And who has the numbers?
Of course, I will say Rigathi Gachagua now has the numbers. So, and we have Kalonzo Musyoka, we have Matiang'i, you know, the people with numbers are known. But you cannot hold us at ransom. You want us a formula, a scientific formula. Which science? Which laboratory do you use? We need absolute numbers. Wewe chukua gari, enda campaign. But sitting in our hotel eating sausages and chips, and you want us to elect you as president?
I'm tempted to ask who's eating sausages and chips, but that's a story for another day. Cleophas Malala, asante sana for your input right here on KTN Prime. He is a playwright, author, and second, he is a politician and equally happens to be the Democracy for Citizens Party deputy leader. Thank you so much for your time.
And receive my greetings from Senator Matthew.
I respect him, but I don't fear him. Anyway, we finalize on that particular note. Greetings have been received. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you've been adequately informed. My name is Jesse Rogers. Good evening. Enjoy the rest of your viewing.
Thank you.